Okay, good morning, everybody. Mr. Littlefield, you're in the middle of my screen. Can you hear me okay?
I can't, excuse me, I can, Your Honor, yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure before I start rattling everything off. Good morning if you're here. Today is February 2nd, 2021, and this is B County Court. This is a misdemeanor court. I'm gonna close this window shade real quick, and then I'm gonna read off some admonitions. If you are on this Zoom hearing this morning, when you aren't speaking, please keep your phone or your tablet or your computer on mute. And it'll just help us go a little bit smoother. We have Mr. Raven on. He's our court reporter. I see Mr. Connors, Ms. Bondo with the County Attorney's Office. Do we, oh, there you are, Miss Union. Okay, hang tight real quick, everybody. I don't think that made any difference at all. Okay. Good morning. If you're required to be here today, I'm sorry, Mr. Raven, are we ready?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Good morning. If you're required to be here today, you have been charged with either a Class A or Class B misdemeanor. This means that the range of punishment that I can impose on you if you are found guilty, or if you plead guilty or no contest, is up to a year in jail, a fine of up to $4,000, court costs and or probation with a wide range of conditions and terms. So please don't take these charges lightly. You do have certain rights. These are rights that you can waive freely and voluntarily, but that you do not have to waive. These are your fundamental constitutional rights. You have the right to plead not guilty and demand a trial by jury. That means that the prosecutor will be required to prove every element of the crime filed against you, and a jury will need to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed the crime alleged. You can also waive your right to trial by jury and have your case heard before me alone. You may also plead guilty, where you will admit that you committed the crime alleged and would allow me to find you guilty without a trial. You may also plead nolo contendere, or no contest, which means you are neither confirming nor denying you committed the crime, but it will have the same effect of a guilty plea, and it will allow me to find you committed the crime without the necessity of a trial. You must enter a plea. If you do not enter a plea, I'll enter a not guilty plea for you, and we will proceed to trial. You have the right to not incriminate yourself, which means you will not be required to speak to the county attorney or law enforcement. You will also not be required to testify on your own behalf. You have the right to hire an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, I will appoint one to you after making a determination that you cannot, in fact, afford an attorney. This does not mean the attorney is necessarily free to you. If you plead guilty or no contest, or if you are found guilty, I may impose on you for the court-appointed attorney, and if so imposed, you will be ordered to pay those fees with any other court costs or fines. If you are appointed an attorney today, or if you need time to hire an attorney, your case may be reset, and in which case you'll be ordered to appear in this courtroom at a later date. You also have the right to represent yourself. If you choose to proceed without an attorney, I'll give you an opportunity to visit with the county attorney and you can discuss a possible plea bargain. Please understand that the county attorney does not represent you. This morning from the B County Attorney's Office, we have Mr. Neil Connors. And is Mr. Knight planning on attending? I don't see him, but.
I think it'd be just me for right now, Your Honor.
Okay, great.
Court.
We have Mr. Connors on behalf of B County Attorney's Office. He's an incredibly reasonable individual, and I like him. I have no doubt that he'll work with you. However, it's important that you understand that he does not represent you. If you would like to speak to Mr. Connors today, I'll give you an opportunity to have your case resolved today if y'all can work out an agreement. For those of you who may qualify for pretrial supervision, I will review your case, and if approved, I will reset your case for a period of time, such as 1 year. This 1 year would be your one shot at getting this case dismissed. You will make agreements with Mr. Knight's office to be placed on community supervision in accordance to certain rules. You must follow each of those rules, and if you fail to comply, your case will be set on the docket and we'll move forward with adjudicating your guilt. All refunds will be done through my office. If you cannot be in court on your scheduled date, you must file a motion for continuance with the county clerk's office 10 days before your scheduled date. I don't enjoy considering motions after that time, and if a motion is made after the 10-day cutoff, it will be considered at the time the case is called during the next docket that the late motion for continuance was filed on. I hope that's very clear. So if you call the day before or send a motion to the court the day before asking for a continuance because you can't be here, I'll hear it when I call the case at that docket, which means you're not excused. I hope that's clear. We have some local rules. You can look them up on the internet if anybody has any questions. And if you ever do have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me or to my office. And if we can answer them, and if it's proper that we do answer them, we will. If not, we won't. So if you fail to appear at a scheduled court date, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. And if you hire an attorney after today, it's really important that they are familiar with those rules, because ultimately it is you, the defendant, who will be held responsible. If you're arrested because you failed to show up to a hearing or a Zoom hearing, which is the same thing as a hearing for all intents and purposes, the terms of your bond to get you released from jail for not showing up to a court hearing will be considered at the next available court date. Don't call my office, don't contact the county attorney's office, and don't contact the county clerk's office. Don't have your family do it either. Your best bet to avoid being arrested on an alias capias warrant is to simply show up to each hearing that you're noticed for. Okay. That concludes the admonitions. At this point in time, I'm going to, I can see y'all's names for most of y'all on my screen, but we'll go a little bit slow. So if you hear your name, come off of mute and let us know you're here, and attorneys make a brief announcement. Let me know what the status is. If you don't really have a status, just let me know. We'll mark you as conferring. Elaine Gamble.
I think are there any people in the waiting room? Because I'm trying to help her get on the call.
Oh, I'm sorry. There are. Let me get. There's 3.
Okay, perfect.
They're joining right now. Thank you, Miss Yoon. Okay. Elaine Gamble.
I don't know if I see her, but she definitely is getting on the call.
Okay, we will recall Miss Gamble. That'll be cases 1 through 3. Starting back on case number 4, Isaiah Hinojosa. I see him. Mr. Hinojosa, you're on mute.
Yes, sir.
There you are. Okay, thanks. I'm going to mark you as conferring, sir, okay?
Okay.
All right, stay on the phone. Don't hang up. Brian Gaitan.
Present with counsel.
Thank you, Ms. Yoon. Mark y'all as conferring. Greg Lopez.
I spoke with the county attorney's office. He basically his cases will be dismissed, and they have an understanding he will not be in court today.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so the court will entertain motions to dismiss on cases 7, 8, and 9 before the lunch break. Thank you for that announcement. Motions to dismiss. Motions need to be on the bench before the end of the morning docket. Alias Holman.
Present with counsel.
Mark you as conferring.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Holman. Thank you for being here. Richard Alanis, motion for continuance was granted January 28th, 2021. Laura Anzaldua.
She also, we worked something out with the county attorney's office, and there's also an understanding that she will not be in court today.
Okay, there's no understanding, by the way, on the part of the court that these defendants won't be in court. So we'll have
Yeah,
Um,
she actually entered a rehabilitation program.
I was still speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real important in Zoom hearings that we take a moment and make sure that the other person speaking stops before we start. It gets really hard on a conference call, so no big deal. I'll entertain a motion to dismiss on my bench before we break for the morning docket. Ryan Loya, case was dismissed January 27th, 2021. Antonio Aleman, I got somebody else.
Present with counsel.
And mark you as confirming. Guadalupe Altamirano.
Um, he's present with counsel also.
Okay, I'll mark you as confirming. Elias Holman, I will mark you as confirming, sir. Theodore Hernandez.
Present with counsel.
Thank you, Ms. Yoon. I'll mark you as confirming. Jacob Benavides.
Judge, I do see him on. He's muted right now. It looks like his screen is also blacked out.
I'm here. Can you?
I got you, Mr. Benavides.
Okay.
And Judge, just real quickly, we're requesting that this gets set for a plea, but we would request the court do it 6 weeks away if possible. I think client just needs a little bit of time to come up with a fee for pretrial supervision on this.
What do we got? 6 weeks out. Could be March 30th? How about March 30th? Mr.
That should work, Judge.
Say that again.
March 30th.
Perfect.
Thanks, Mr. Littlefield. Mr. Connors, that you familiar with the proposed plea agreement?
Your Honor, I'm going to get that in front of me here shortly. If we
Okay.
could mark that for return.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll come right back to it. I'll come back to it, Mr. Littlefield, in just a moment.
Okay, thanks, Judge.
Sure. Greg Lopez.
He's, it's the same as what we had discussed earlier.
Oh, thank you.
And so, Your Honor, on that very briefly, Mr. Lopez, it's there's just to inform the court, there's a felony plea that's anticipated or outstanding. And so we would move to have this reset upon completion of that plea, in which time the state intends to dismiss this.
Court will
County.
grant that reset subject to the defendant signing a notice of reset on the desk by the end of the day. How about that? Is that good? Can I get the defendant to sign that piece of paper that this case is going to be reset? And we'll give you a reset date right now. What's a reset date for this one? We'll just put it out like 4 months in advance. Do you think that's enough time for the felony plea deal? Mr.
Your Honor, I can tell you that I believe that the felony plea is anticipated next month.
Okay.
So that's plenty of time. In fact, maybe a little too much time, like to help, keep your docket clear as well as
We'll do
ours.
April. How about April? What do we have?
Thank you, Judge.
April 13th, Ms. Yoon?
That works.
Okay. Set to dismiss. Belinda Garcia?
It's my client. I don't know if she's having a hard time getting on Zoom, but I haven't talked to her this morning.
She's spoken with my court coordinator. She apparently is on her way to the courthouse to get on the court-provided computer. We'll recall the case.
Thank you.
Josie Hodges?
Present with counsel.
Okay, good morning, Ms. Hodges. I'll mark you as conferring Ms. Yoon. Brandon Viao?
Good morning, Judge. Brandon is on. We just want to pass to announcement, please.
Okay.
Okay.
You got a date for that one?
Announcement. I'm gonna do the end of March.
Okay. Is that
March 30th.
March 30th? March 30th, 2021. The court's going to enter an order. The order is going to apply to every cause of action on today's docket. If you get a reset or a new hearing date or a continuance, the court needs you, if it's too burdensome for you to obtain a signature from your client, the court needs you to receive some written confirmation of that hearing date from your client, or I guess, and if you can't imagine anybody would do this otherwise, the court requires that the attorneys representing those defendants, if they can't provide a written confirmation of that hearing date, the attorneys will confirm that their clients have received notice of that hearing date for the court. If you don't mind, that'll help us. This Zoom really has a negative impact on our ability to make sure that our defendants know that their court cases are being, that they get notice of their new court settings. And so if y'all could do that for me, that would be great. If there's any really big issues that you have with any particular client or with all clients, you can contact me directly outside of the courtroom setting. Alejandro Ramirez.
Mr. Ramirez is mine too, Your Honor. I spoke with him yesterday. He told me that he didn't have the capability to get on, that he would be appearing at the courthouse using the computer. I don't know if he's there or not.
Mr. Loya indicated that he is.
Yes, I'm present.
Oh, he's here. Sorry, sir.
We would like to pass this one to announcement too, but if I could request a later date, because the gentleman has 3 extra cases that we're in discussion with the county attorney office with.
When would, what would you like? Early summer or
How about May 18th?
May 18th?
That's perfect, yes.
Okay, pass to announcement. New date is May 21.
Since my client is there, could he sign his reset notice while he's there, Judge?
Absolutely, Mr. DeBosch. And that would go for anybody else whose clients are present in the courthouse. Yeah, so Mr. Ramirez, don't leave until we release you. It won't occur till later on this morning, so just hang tight.
Yes, sir.
Jason Bosch-Ortiz.
He's my client. I'm not sure if I see him here.
Mr. Ortiz?
I think he might be, I think he might be iPhone. I think he's having a hard time with his mute button.
If your name is Jason Bosch-Ortiz, will you raise your right hand?
Yeah, okay, he's present with counsel.
Wait, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. In the black code, I thought maybe you were Mr. Ortiz, but you're
No,
not.
he's raising his hand.
see.
iPhone.
I see you, Mr. Ortiz. And in the black jacket, I'm sorry. I saw your arm was going up and I thought you were identifying. So I got you, Mr. Ortiz. We're here. I'm going to mark you all as conferring and move on. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you.
Sonny Flores.
Present with
Yes, sir.
counsel.
Okay, thank you for being present. Thank you to everybody that's present this morning. I know it's a little cumbersome. Ms. Yoon, I'm marked y'all as conferring on this one. Elias Holman, marked y'all as conferring again. That's the third one. Antonio Moreno.
Good morning, Judge. That's my client. He should be online. We had previously worked out an agreement with the state. He was supposed to complete a program. It's my fault he didn't complete the program because I didn't get him the information. So I'm just asking to reset it so we can get that done, Judge.
Okay, Mr. O'Connor's.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, when's our next setting? When's our next setting? Oh, that's probably not enough. When's the next one? February 16th, enough time, Mr. Flynn, or do you need March 16th?
Probably not. He's got to do the batter's intervention program, which is a 6-week program. So he's got to complete that, Judge.
Sometimes it's a little over 6 weeks.
Thank you. Okay, April 27th.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, Mr. Flynn. Theodore Hernandez. I think we did that, right? Marking this conferring.
Yes.
Ryan Loya.
Present with counsel. I think that one was also.
I'm here.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Loya. And what did you say, Ms. Yoon? Sorry, I missed it.
Present with counsel.
Caleb Bozant.
Present with counsel.
We have a motion to suppress on the docket for today. Are we ready to proceed on that?
I was told by the county's attorney's office that I would be given a day today.
Your Honor, that was our understanding as well. So the state is not prepared to proceed today, and we would request that the court set this for argument or motion.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the what's the next, February 16th? Okay, the court's setting this suppression hearing for February 16th. Actually, you know what? Mr. Bozant, hang on the phone for a little bit. I know you're here somewhere. And Ms. Yoon and Mr. Connors, let me look at that for a second and talk to y'all during the break or once I get done with the document.
Thank you, Judge. Yes, we might like to be heard on those dates as well, if you could.
Well, I want them heard quick.
Okay, very good.
But I'm looking. I'm considering maybe figuring out a way to do a special setting or a separate time.
Oh, yes, sir.
And get everybody else off, and then we can have it. I have one add-on. Well, I have two add-ons. Benjamin Rosales. I see you, Mr. Rosales. How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Good. How are you doing today, Judge?
Doing well, thank you. I show that you're represented by an attorney by the name of Mr. Goff.
That's correct.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Goff.
I just unmuted.
How are you?
I'm all right, Judge. How are you?
Doing well. I'm sorry, I've got too many little boxes.
We're just here to confirm the pretrial diversion.
Oh, thank you. I have it right here. I'll recall the case in just a few minutes. Thank you, Mr. Goff. Mark is confirmed. Michael Martinez.
Yes, Judge. Michael is on. I spoke with the county attorney's office about this case. They are willing to continue his PTD. However, I realize that it's going to require an extension because the term of the PTD has expired. So I will be requesting 3-month extension, if that's okay with Mr. Connors, and that will allow him to fulfill the obligations of his PTD within that time period.
We'll join in that, Your Honor.
Okay, that sounds great.
May 4th.
When?
May 4th.
May 4th. Should be a little over 3 months, right?
Sounds great with us.
I also want to ask probation if they're on, when they would like my client to report. I would like my client to report today, if that's okay with them.
Ms. Luna?
Yes, sir. He does need to report as soon as you dismiss him from court. He needs to come straight over here to sign those orders amending, if you are in agreement with it, Your Honor.
Okay.
I would prefer a 6-month extension instead of a 3-month, though, to make sure that he has enough time to get everything complete.
We don't have an objection to that, as long as if he does complete it earlier, that the county attorney would let him off the retrial.
Why don't we just keep the setting when it is, and if you guys can't get it done, or if the defendant can't get it done by the date the court set, then the court can consider the recourse that it wants to take, and the parties can make their motions and pleas at that time. Does that work for y'all?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. I also have Mr. Martinez, just for housekeeping real quick. If nobody has any objection, he is case number 32 on the afternoon docket. He has a case number. It's a arraignment setting, and he is not appointed in our system by TRLA yet. I don't know if TRLA is going to consider picking up this case, or if they require an additional affidavit of inability to pay costs. But I think if we can resolve it at this time, then we can cut Mr. Martinez loose and he can have the rest of the day back. Mr. Martinez, why don't you unmute for me?
Judge, I would just require an additional affidavit completed by him.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz.
Yes.
Mr. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you been listening to what we've been talking about just a few seconds?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're the Michael Martinez that I'm talking about, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Can you get an affidavit? You have a case on the docket. It's a POM case. You don't have counsel appointed to represent you. Will you be seeking court-appointed counsel?
Yes.
Okay. Then what I'm going to need you to do, we're going to reset your arraignment hearing date. I'm going to need you to get in touch with PRLA, call them directly, ask for Mr. Diaz. You'll need to fill out another affidavit. That's okay. You can go take notes right now. Call TRLA. You can Google their number. It is offhand. Ask for Mike Diaz. And you'll need to fill out an affidavit of indigency to get appointed, to get trial appointed to represent you in this case. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to need to go ahead and do that. I'm going to reset your arraignment for when's the next arraignment? Not February 16th, but March 16th. Actually, let's do February 16th. I'm gonna reset your arraignment, Mr. Martinez, for February 16th. If you can get your affidavit filed quickly, your attorneys could probably get a waiver of arraignment on file, so you don't have to show up on the 16th. But otherwise, we can just do it again on. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's nothing further that needs to be addressed with respect to Mr. Martinez. Would you agree, Mr. Habash?
No, Your Honor, there's nothing else.
Mr. Connor, do you agree? Oh, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Then Mr. Martinez, you have a reset on the violation hearing of May 4th, 2021, okay? And then you have an arraignment hearing on the afternoon case of February 16th. So you are excused, and you can have the rest of the day to yourself. Okay, thank you for being here this morning, and we'll see you on the 16th if we don't get a waiver of arraignment on file before then. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. You have a good day.
Your Honor, just so I'm clear, we don't need to give modified conditions for the 3-month extension. We're just going to allow him to do what he needs to do until May.
That was my understanding of what the agreement was between Mr. Connors and Mr. Habash. Did I misunderstand that?
I thought it was a 3-month extension of his current PTD, and that would make him his probation end in March, because he was supposed to expire January.
So it needs to be a formal extension. My apologies. So, Mr. Martinez, you need to go today to adult probation and go meet with Miss Luna or one of her co-workers and get that paperwork taken care of. And it needs to be done early because I believe, Miss Luna, I need to sign off. Do I need to sign off on it today as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does that make sense, Mr. Martinez?
Just come straight over here,
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Martinez. Probation.
Okay, great.
Okay. I'm on quarantine for like 3 more days. Do you still want me to go inside the building?
No.
Just asking.
Yeah, if you're on quarantine for 3 more days, what we'll do is we'll set you up. Just give us a call, make sure your phone number is correct and everything, and then we'll actually set an appointment for you to come in. Your Honor, I'll just send you the orders amending. He understands that he does have a 3-month extension, and we'll just all sign off on it. And then we'll just give him the copy when he gets here. That's the best way we can do it right now since he is on quarantine.
I'm fine. The court's fine with that. Anybody have any objection to that, Mr. Bosch or Mr. Connors?
No, Judge, and that's on me. I should have made our request clearer when the defense put it forward.
No worries, no worries. Mr. Martinez, okay, you have your marching orders. You understand what you need to do. several tasks. You are
I
excused.
understand.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Martin, here this morning. Best of luck to you. You can go ahead and get off. You're welcome to stay on.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Oh. Uh-huh.
Hello.
All right, well, hang on. Okay, keep him here. Oh, he's the one we're waiting. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Rosales, I'm going to review your paperwork now. Does anybody need to, before I get started on this, I've got 3 breakout rooms open. Are there any discussions attorneys need to have with clients or with the prosecutor's office?
Let's see, Your Honor. We're open to anybody who wants to have a session with us,
Thank you, sir.
attorney or defendant.
Can I meet with you just for a second, Neil?
Yes, ma'am. And I understand also case number 4. We'll request Mr. Hinojosa at the earliest opportunity as well, Your Honor.
Okay, let me put you in with Miss Yoon real quick, and then when
Sure.
y'all can just pop on out.
Okay.
See you soon. Thanks, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Goff, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've reviewed the conditions of pretrial supervision in cause number 26343, Texas versus Benjamin Rosales, and I approve of this this pretrial supervision. I've signed both documents, both the conditions and the waiver of speedy trial. Is there anything further that needs to come before this?
I would say the only thing we need to know is exactly when, where is he supposed to report to, I guess, the probation department to, get everything going. That's legit.
Yes, sir. Ms. is coming back, and we'll get her.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Brittany is on.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of feedback from somebody else who has, I guess, a microphone on.
Right.
Let me just go through and mute everybody. How's that? A little bit better?
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Okay. Miss Luna.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Goff had a question with respect to Mr. Rosales on cause number 26343. Mr. Rosales is entering into a pretrial supervision. When does he need to arrive, and what does he need to do? What is his next steps with respect to this pretrial supervision agreement?
Is it going to be for the pretrial diversion?
Correct.
Okay. What he'll need to do is, Amanda, will you send me, Miss Bonda, will you send me his conditions so I can go over them with him? Okay. So what he'll do is he needs to report to probation within the hour, so we can go over his conditions with him.
Is there a number?
He'll sign off on them, and then what he'll do is that we'll send him back to the judge for his signature.
All right. Is there a number he can call you?
Yes, sir. It's 361-621-1569.
And ask for you specifically?
You can ask for Connie McElwain.
Connie, what's the last name?
McElwain, McElwain.
All right. I will have him do that.
Okay. Judge Morrell, may I be excused from court? Miss Garcia is going to take over for me here in just a second. I do have a family emergency now I have to tend to.
Please.
I'm sorry. I'm not in town. I wouldn't be able to report within the hour.
You're going to call.
Where are you at?
I'm in El Campo currently.
Oh. Then I don't know if you want to reset him for the next court date or not then.
Miss, you need to go. You can go and we can get Miss Mac on. It's okay.
Judge, I'll have him call in, and then, you know, they can basically set up a time that he can come in, and I don't think it's going to need a reset, and then they can coordinate their schedules, I'm sure.
Yeah, subject to approval by adult probation. I was under the impression that adult probation had already reviewed those conditions, and they always need to. So it's so much easier, right, when we're in person. Because
yes, unfortunately, he needs to be here the same date that he gets sentenced, so we can go over everything with him and he understands.
Okay, if there's no objection, and I know we don't have the county attorney here. Thank you, Ms. Bond. I know you're you're not. I know you're not. But I know Mr. Connors is in. But subject, unless somebody has an objection, I'd be. When I sign the order, I can sign it without. There's no live testimony. So, Mr. Goff, I can sign it tomorrow. I can sign it today. I can sign it, any day this week. As long as you get it done. If it's okay, I think just to make sure I don't lose sight of it, I want to reset the case to February 16th. But I'd like to, I'm sorry, I lost your clients. Oh, there he is. Mr. Rosales, if he's available tomorrow or Thursday and can stop by probation and get everything all lined out, then they can just submit the order if there's no revisions to.
I don't know if he can chime in right now when he'll be available. Is he available tomorrow? Then?
Yes, I am. Yes, sir. I'm available tomorrow.
Does that work for you, Miss Luna?
Yes, sir. That works perfect.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what happens. And if Mr. Goff, if we don't get done tomorrow, we'll just hit that reset notice and send it out for February 16th. And before then, there's still lots of time. So we'll accommodate you guys as best we can.
Great. Thank you. May we be excused?
You may. Thank you, Mr. Goff.
Thank you, Judge. Miss Garcia is here for probation now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye. Does that make sense to you? You don't get to work tomorrow and set it for February 16th. Just go on. Okay. Belinda Garcia. She's walking. Wow. Okay. Those are the only. That's the only one.
And then the other one, number 33, I don't see him.
Who's his lawyer? $33 add-on. He's already been signed up. I think so. I'll put Jeremy. Okay. There are a lot. For those of you on the Zoom call that aren't lawyers or court staff, over the course of the next couple hours, things are going to seem to proceed very slowly. That's just the factor of our county attorney only having one county attorney to try to address all y'all's cases. So just be patient with us, keep your phone on mute and hang around. Normally our morning docket does wrap up by 10:30 or 11. And I see Miss Yoon's back. Hi, Miss Gamble. I see you. You're on mute. Miss, I can't hear you, but that's okay. I've marked Miss Yoon, your attorney, is present, and I've marked you as conferring. And Miss Yoon, if you need to speak with Miss Gamble, I can put y'all in the breakout room.
Yes, she actually, I talked to the county's attorney's office and she's going to be making her payment directly to them.
Okay.
So if she can be excused, I know she had surgery recently.
Okay, where's Mr. Connors?
Oh, I think he's still in the breakout room. I guess you can, yes.
Yes, I am. Sorry, Judge.
Oh, there you are.
I was in hyperspace limbo.
Ms. Yoon was commenting on Elaine Gamble's cases, of which there are there only 3? Yeah, one.
Looks like there are 3.
And the announcement is that Ms. Gamble is going to make a payment directly to your office. And there's a request to excuse Ms. Gamble to do that. Is there anything further that needs to come before the court on either the first, second, or third case on the morning docket?
No, Your Honor, this is obviously just a restitution collection matter that may take a little time. So that's exactly right. We've given Ms. Yoon some instruction, and if I don't know if Ms. Gamble can hear, but we're able to receive that payment here at the county attorney's office, cashier's check or money order, and we'll make it payable to the merchant as appropriate.
And does the county attorney have a recommendation on a subsequent status hearing on these cases?
Your Honor, I think that perhaps this case would be appropriate for maybe I'm trying to think of maybe semi-monthly basis, so every other month, without being too arduous on the parties and the court.
So we'll do it in April. I think it's a little bit longer than 2 months, but is that the first date in April? April 13th. How's that?
That sounds great, Judge.
Okay, so we're setting you for a new status hearing, Ms. Gamble, for April 13th, 2021. You'll need to, I can't hear you, no ma'am. You're still on mute. It's okay, but I think I'm interpreting correctly.
Okay, just say unmute.
Oh, there you are. Perfect.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just had lower lumbar surgery and I've been sitting, I've been laying, and they dug in my spine. So keep me in your prayer.
Best wishes for a speedy recovery, Miss Gamble. And hopefully next time you show up, it'll have to be the last time and you won't have to come back down again, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miss Gamble, you are excused. You can go ahead and get off the call.
All right, thank you.
Okay. April what? Okay.
Your Honor, also, I confirmed with Neil, my client Josie Hodges, her case will be dismissed. So I request that they get the paperwork over to you, and so she can be dismissed from court this morning.
Mr. Connors, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
And sorry we didn't have that to you sooner.
Oh, that's no problem at all. I'm really concerned that things can get lost in the mix because of all of the moving parts. That's the only reason I'm trying to get some additional assistance to make sure that we're not missing things or
Yes.
negatively impacting defendants, minimum notice requirements. So Ms. Hodges, where are you? Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and excuse you. You can go ahead and get off the call. This is what's gonna happen. At some point in time today, a motion to dismiss is gonna be presented by the county attorney's office to me for signature. I'll execute it, and then this case will be dismissed. If for any reason something changes, we'll contact Ms. Yoon directly and immediately to let her know. And in any event, none of your rights will be prejudiced by you taking advantage of getting off of the Zoom call for the rest of the day. Okay, so you can.
Okay, I don't have to go up there and sign anything.
Not from our part, Your Honor.
I can get you the paperwork too, Josie.
Okay, sounds good.
Dismissal for us. I don't think there's nothing from the court, Ms. Hodges.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you so much. So you are excused.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Oh, shoot. Ms. Yoon, I'm desirous, hopeful that you have other cases to resolve.
What did you say? Oh, sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you have any other matters for me to address at this time?
Yes, so I have a couple breakout rooms I need to go into, but I have a couple clients that have other cases coming through that we are waiting on. And one of them is Brian Gatian.
Okay.
And Ryan Loya. And I think there's
I've got Ryan Loya. Wait, is there more than 29? Okay.
Oh, and Guadalupe Altamirano.
So for make sure. So for Brian Gitan, Guadalupe Altamirano, and Ryan Loya, there are other cases that are pending that haven't been filed yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have waivers of speedy trial on file for these active cases that we're gonna hold off on doing anything on because of future cases that haven't been filed yet?
No, but I can do that.
Would you mind?
No.
I don't mind. I don't mind holding off for you to
Okay.
get it all resolved quickly, but I would like that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. So that would be case number 5 and 6 have been resolved for today. Case 15 and case 29. Miss Yoon, I also see in my notes that Mr. Gaitan has a case on this afternoon's docket.
Yes, I did file a waiver of arraignment for that one.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, Mr. Gaitan?
Yes, sir.
You have heard the discussion that we just had on your matter. Do you understand what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Great. Then at this time, I'm going to excuse you. And if you have any other follow-up questions or anything, you can just touch base with your attorney, Ms. Yoon. And thank you for being here this morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. No problem. So I can hang up now?
You may, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
And Mr. Altamirano? Oh, you're on mute.
Yes.
Ah, there you are. Did you understand the discussion that we just had concerning the matter?
Yes, sir.
And I presume, Ms. Yoon, there's no further requests on any of these cases?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, great. And the same would be true for you as well, Mr. Connors?
Yes, Your Honor. No further requests.
Mr. Altamirano, if you have any questions about anything that occurred today, please contact your attorney directly. At this time, I'm going to excuse you. You can get off the call and go about the rest of your day, okay? And I wish you the best. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then our last one was Ryan Loya. Mr. Loya, there you are.
Hello.
Mr. Loya, same questions as I asked the other two defendants just now. Did you hear the discussion that we had concerning your matter? It's okay. Yeah. I can summarize it for you. This isn't a test. Basically, there's potentially other charges that may be filed, and your lawyer rightfully and wisely wants to get all of those cases in the courtroom before resolving your case. The prosecutor is willing to accommodate that request, and the court is willing to accommodate that as well. And so if you have any other questions, you should contact Ms. Yoon directly. But for purposes of today's hearing, you are excused, and you may get off the phone and go about the rest of your day. And I wish you the best of luck in the future. And thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good day.
Your Honor, what days were these cases reset to?
So we don't have a reset on any of these cases because we don't have a idea of when the other cases will be filed. Yeah, Ms. Garcia, it's going to be interesting, but for purposes of today, we'll just get them back on the docket sometime in the spring or early summer.
Okay, sounds good.
Mr. Littlefield, what are you?
Mr. Judge, is there any way I can get in a quick breakout room?
Okay, sure.
With Mr. Antonio Aleman?
Antonio Aleman. Are you, if you're Antonio Aleman, wave at me. I don't
see him. He was just here. In the meantime, can you put me in a breakout room with Jason Vasquez, who's the iPhone?
I think I just did. I hope not. If I didn't, y'all come back out.
Okay, let me try.
Mr. Littlefield, my apologies, sir.
Not a problem, Your Honor. So I've been texting with Mr. Connors, Your Honor, and I think he's aware of what's going on. Basically, there's been a PTS offer in this case. I think my client just needs a little bit of time to get that fee together. So we'd request a short reset on that. And Judge, there was an additional issue in this case. I'm not sure if you remember this. We had requested some modification of the IID bond condition for my client. I believe the other attorney for my office was actually on the last hearing. And he's informed me, Judge, I guess you wanted to revisit it this time and see if my client would be willing to swear under oath that the only vehicle that he has been driving is his own. And we'd request, again, Judge, that the court consider removing that IID bond condition.
Okay. I recall this one. You had submitted to the court many months of reports, which the defendant utilized the vehicle the first month and a half, 2 months of the conditions being in place for the Smart Start. but then for the last 4 to 6 months, there's no usage of the vehicle. And so, yeah, the court does have a concern that there's a second vehicle and that he's, because he's just not using this one. So I think is this the right case, Mr. Littlefield?
It is, Your Honor. And I'll be honest with you, the other attorney in the office here, I'm not sure if he quite informed me of that. And if that's the case, Your Honor, I understand. I think we're pretty close to getting this resolved anyway. If it's not an issue that the court wants to discuss further today, I don't think it's going to be an issue for too much longer anyway. So,
Mr. Connors, do you have a position?
And on that, in the entire case, Your Honor, does it serve Mr. Littlefield and his client's interest to have this just reset on a pretty short fuse, let's say the April dates? Is that sufficient for you, sir?
I think as early as possible. March, April, whenever you guys have open, I think that's fine with us.
Maybe we could speed it up, Your Honor, Judge, and then diffuse this other issue with the IID.
Sure. I have it penciled in for March 30th, but
I think that should be perfect. Or if you guys have earlier as well, anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks, I think would be right there, if that's a possibility.
If there's no objection, we can set it up at March 16th.
No objection, Your Honor.
Is that good?
Perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Benavidez, we're resetting your case for March 16th, 2021. If you have any questions, you can contact Mr. Littlefield directly. Thank you, Mr. Littlefield, for your time this morning.
Thank you, Judge.
And y'all's patience. And y'all may be excused. Will Mr. Littlefield, he's gone. Oh,
sorry.
No. It's okay. Your box moved. We'll get you that setting notice, and if you could, either let us know that you did get it to Mr. Benavidez, or have Mr. Benavidez sign something, I'd appreciate it. Just something so that we know. I know he's here present, but some affirmation that he does know that that's his next court date. The court would appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That's not a problem. I actually, Judge, would it be okay if we get an email to you guys? If I forward an email from my client to Mike, maybe, or?
Yes, sir. That'd be perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, y'all are excused. I don't think, Mr. Littlefield, you don't have anything else on the docket, do you, this morning?
I do not.
Okay, then y'all are both excused, and thank you for being here this morning, and have a great day.
Not a problem. Thanks, Judge.
Yes, sir. Mr. Benavidez.
Your Honor, I don't think the breakout room worked with.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let's try it again.
I think, is that Belinda Garcia?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got an Antonio Aliman in room 2.
Okay.
I'm just going to close all the rooms and then I'll open up another room.
Okay. And okay, perfect.
Is that all right?
Yes, I was just realizing my other client is now in court.
Oh, okay. Did you want to speak with Mr. Aliman?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry, it's not working super great for me. Hold on. Here we go. Antonio Aliman. Okay, Miss Yoon, that should work for you.
Thank you.
Aliman. Mr. Abash, do you have any matters that are ready for the court's attention?
I'm just waiting for Alejandro Ramirez with his reset. And I don't know if we're doing it the same way as last time, if the court can just confirm that my waivers of arraignments for the afternoon were granted. That's what I'm here for, Judge.
Thank you. But, and I apologize. Tell me your client's name again.
Alejandro Ramirez.
What number is he?
Number 23, Judge.
Ah, thank you. Oh, we passed to announcement. And 32? Oh, okay. Mr. Habash, Mr. Ramirez has already been appointed to you. Hold on real quick. Will y'all excuse me? I don't know if this is, hold on. Excuse me real quick. Oh, shoot, I don't want to do this. Okay. So what did for this afternoon's case, did you just want to enter a waiver of arraignment on the record?
I filed formal waivers on Jerome Roselle and Araceli Ybarra. Want to make sure that the court got those and that Alejandro Ramirez signed his reset. That's about it, Judge.
I got Araceli Ybarra, Jerome Roselle. Okay, so he's just waiting to get when Mr. Ramirez signs his reset notice on the morning. Did you say you filed a waiver of arraignment for Alejandro Ramirez on the afternoon case, Mr. Habash?
No, I did not. We're not appointed on that one just yet. My investigator has to do his intake stuff with him on those. I didn't see him on the afternoon docket just yet anyway. I was mostly concerned about my waivers on Jerome Roselle and Araceli Ybarra.
Okay.
We've received waiver of arraignments on those cases mentioned by Mr. Habash, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. They've both been signed. Go talk to Mr. Ramirez, get his reset signed. I guess he's got a reset of it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. He's not signed. He's not on that. So, Mr. Habash, well, okay, that's fine. Is Mr. Ramirez on the?
He's in the courthouse in person.
Oh, that's right. Go get him on the Zoom, please. We'll take care of it right now, Mr. Habash.
Thank you.
Okay. Who's this again?
Alejandro Ramirez is present.
Hey, Mr. Ramirez, how are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Doing well, sir. You're here this morning on a cause this morning in which Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid has been appointed to represent you. That case is being reset to April 27th of 2021. You also have a new case, a different case on the afternoon docket, which is at 1:30 this afternoon. And, oh, I'm sorry, wrong day. On your morning case, we have a reset notice for May 18th, 2021 on cause number 26691. My apologies. Mr. Ramirez, I told you the wrong date. The next hearing date you have on the case that you're here this morning on is May 18th. You have a case on the afternoon docket. The case on the afternoon docket is case number 26768. It's a possession of marijuana case. It's number 33 on the afternoon docket. You do not have any attorney appointed to represent you. And unless you object, I'd like to ask you at this time if you will consent to us just handling this afternoon case for you this morning so that I can excuse you and you don't have to show up at 1:30. Do you consent to that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Would you be seeking court-appointed counsel on this new case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to reset your arraignment this afternoon case for for February 16th. That is only a couple weeks away. But what I need you to do is I need you to immediately contact Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid and ask for Mr. Mike Diaz to obtain a affidavit of indigency and inability to pay costs and get that filled out and formalized and returned to him. So if you do qualify for court-appointed counsel, which I presume that you will, then we can get you counsel, and then your attorney, Trala, can file a waiver of arraignment so that you don't have to show back up on the 16th of February. Does that all make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay, so I'm going to excuse you after you speak with Mr. Loya, my court coordinator, who just went over there. He's got a couple documents for you or a document for you to sign. Unless there's anything further that needs to come before this.
I should just went to the courtroom.
From the court, Mr. Habash, Mr. Connors, do y'all have anything on either of these matters for Mr. Ramirez?
Mr. Ramirez, Your Honor. No, I spoke with Mr. Ramirez's counsel yesterday, Mr. Habash, and I think we have a plan to move forward with these cases. So we look forward to the next opportunity to appear in front of the court on hearing and perhaps resolve some of these matters, Judge.
Okay, sounds great. Mr. Habash?
I agree with that, Judge.
Great, thank you both. And Mr. Ramirez, subject to talking to Mr. Loya and signing our reset notice, you are excused. Thank you for being here this morning, and you do not have to come back this afternoon, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
If I may.
I'm sorry, Mr. Diaz. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, if I may. Could I have Mr. Ramirez go by our downtown office at 1 p.m. and I will be there so I can complete that paperwork for him?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ramirez, did you hear that?
Yes, sir, at 1 o'clock today?
Yes, sir. At Trala, at their offices.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you.
Anything further? Okay. So we'll mark him off the list. Miss Yoon, did it work?
Yes, I think he's still in the breakout room. But for two other cases, for Mr. Elias Holman, I would like to have him passed to announcement.
All three?
Yes. And I would also request to be in a breakout room with my client, Jason Vasquez, who is named as iPhone here.
Okay. Oh, Miss Yoon. I've got two iPhones. Is I think I see what is your client's name?
Jason Vasquez.
Mr. Vasquez. I think I see gray t-shirt.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put one of these iPhones.
It's iPhone with all lowercase letters.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Okay, so if that's wrong, y'all just pop out.
Okay.
Thank you. Hey, Mr. Aliman, I just pulled you out of that breakout room. You're just in the main session again, okay?
Yes, sir.
Miss Yoon has already gone back into another breakout room, so just hang tight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So Mike, on alias Holman's, we've got a request to pass to announcement. Does the state have any motions, pretrial motions on alias Holman cases? There's 3 of them.
On Mr. Holman's case, Your Honor, the state has no motions.
Thank you, sir. 6. Yes, sir. And when do you have some free space? Let's be looking at second quarter trials. How's it looking in March? Are you filling up in March?
Well, I have 17 a.m. right now. Listen,
March 17th?
I have not 17. I'm sorry, March 16.
March 16th. All right, let's. Is Mr. Holm? No, he's present, but he's not here. Okay. Isaiah Sinahosa.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Mr. Hinojosa. This is a status hearing. Mr. Connors, this is the 4th matter on the morning docket, 26488. Is there any action that needs to occur or anything that needs to come before the court on this matter this morning?
No, sir.
Your Honor, we would ask that case be set. Your Honor, this was one where we were supposed to confer. Maybe we could have a breakout room on this case. I mistook this for a public defender's cause.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Mr. Hinojosa, you're not represented by counsel, correct?
Correct.
And you're not seeking court-appointed counsel at this time?
No, sir.
And the county attorney would like to speak with you. I'm going to put you in a breakout room. Do you still don't want a lawyer to represent you?
No, sir.
Okay. Hang tight, Mr. Hinojosa and Mr. Connors. I'm going to put y'all in a breakout room right now. Hopefully.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Miss Yoon, you're back. Alias Holman resets March 16th, 2021.
Okay, perfect.
And before I excuse him, let's wait till Mr. Connors gets back to see if he has anything further on this matter. I don't believe he does. Did I ask him on this one? No, that was a different. Maybe it was. I don't know. Do you have anything else, Ms. Yoon, at this time?
Most of the other things I think you might need Neil to be on the phone, but
I've got Mr. Hernandez's case.
yes, we so for actually the client I just met with. I think he might still be in the breakout room. Jason Vasquez. He has
Yeah, go ahead.
he's has his well, maybe I should wait for him to come in.
Yeah, let me move him back out.
Yes. So Mr. Jason Vasquez Ortiz, he has is a driving with a license invalid, and he has a driver's license appointment to get his license back on April 1st, which is our agreement with the county attorneys at that time that there would be a dismissal. So I request that we can get him reset for after his driver's license appointment date on April 1st.
That'd be April 13th again? Yeah. So the court will grant that motion subject to the prosecutor's input. Ms. Yoon, I anticipate he'll have any objections.
Yes.
I've made some notes. We'll address that as soon as he gets out of it.
And then on that note too, I also spoke with him, and you can confirm with Mr. Antonio Aleman. He is going to drop off a agreed payment to the county attorney's office, and then I think after that they will be submitting dismissal paperwork. And then when you get a chance, if I could be in a breakout room with Belinda Garcia, who's in court.
Belinda Garcia is in court? Where is she?
Under my name,
Oh, I saw her. Okay. Miss Yoon, Mr. Aloya saw Miss Garcia just go to the water closet.
Okay.
We'll get you in a breakout room as soon as she comes back.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Since it's less than 2 minutes, I can just add some if you wish. If you haven't filled out the name, however you want, you just fill out that application.
Yeah, and we're allowed to do that?
You can, as long as it goes past 3 months, you just did it, you just approved that. And then you can hold 2 places.
Yeah, just add it. Can you do it today and get it over to Charlie? Okay, and this is for who? Okay. Miss Yoon, Mr. Diaz, with respect to Alejandro Ramirez, or is it Mr. Habash?
It's Mr. Habash.
My apologies, y'all. His last affidavit of indigence was signed by him within what the county clerk is telling me is it's recent enough that we can add this afternoon case to that affidavit of indigency without requiring that he fill out another one. So we're going to do that unless you guys have into that. And so Mr. to represent Alejandro Ramirez in cause number 26768. We'll get that paperwork out to you. The county clerk will today. Okay, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'll free you up a little bit too. still waiting on Mr. Connors. Okay, it's been added. Anna just added the case, Mr. Habash.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hi, Ms. Garcia. We haven't said hello to you this morning. Thanks for stepping in. Probably won't be too much going on, but we're almost done. Hi, Belinda Garcia.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you this morning, ma'am?
A little cold, but I'm all right.
Oh yeah, sorry, our boilers are out here, but glad to see you. I know that you had to go through a lot of effort to get down here today, and I want you to know that the court acknowledges, recognizes, and appreciates that. So thank you. I know that wasn't easy for you to get here.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. At this time, your attorney, Miss Yoon, has asked for me to place y'all in a breakout room so that you can discuss in private your case or cases. So I'm going to do that right now, okay? And I'll send Mr. Loya over just to, or is Deputy Salas there? Deputy Salas, he'll make sure she gets in. All right. Let's see. Michael Loya. Ariel, or Miss Yoon, can you go back into room number 2?
Yes, I'll join you.
Okay. We're not pulling anybody on the magistrate docket from the jail.
Yeah.
Good. No? Good. I don't want to.
I guess I've got one on the PM, Anthony Carvajal.
Okay. Oh, it's in right here. Okay. And he's not appointed yet.
There was a few that were on the magistrate.
Mm-hmm.
But I went ahead and sent the invite to them anyway. I would have to have it later. Get it later for them.
No worries. Who is this from? Oh, this is missing. Oh, okay. Make sure she knows that request was gone. Get that from Mr. Diaz. Oh, there's one more. That motion suppressed. Our February 16th, actually, I probably need to do February 16th. What's our March document? March. Okay.
I have 17. I think we've set maybe 3 today.
Okay. We'll talk to them about that, but I'm thinking about maybe having like a special setting at like 10:30 or something. What's the date? March 16th. We'll talk about it. See if they make it back. Hey, Mr. Connors, welcome back.
Judge, good to be back.
What you got? Do you have anything for us on
Mr. Hinojosa? Yes, Your Honor. Had a chance to talk with Mr. Hinojosa, and he's bringing some evidentiary material, which is of interest to the state to get this case resolved today, in which case I believe that we'll be able to get this case off the docket. So he's going to come to our office early this afternoon so we can get it over to your office and then close out this case.
Okay, that sounds great. Then for right now, we'll just do a reset. Jose, you're here. Right, there you are. I'm going to reset your case, but it's probably upsetting. You're going to have to go back up. Everything works out today, okay? But for now, we're going to add you to the March 16th, 2021 docket. So if it's not resolved today or before March 16th, you'll need to come out or show up on Zoom or in person if we're allowed to do that again by the time March rolls around. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions, Mr. Hinojosa?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And you're excused for today, but yeah, please you get that all taken care of. And if you have any questions, feel free to give Mr. Loya behind me a call or Mr. Connors directly if you need to deal with the county attorney's office. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hinojosa.
Thank you, Mr. Now, Mr. Connors, on case number 14 on the morning docket, State versus Antonio Alemán. They've indicated, Ms. Yoon indicated that there's an informal agreement that the case will be dismissed upon payment of the remaining funds owed. And so I would suggest that that'd be great. And today would be wonderful. Tomorrow or anytime, I'd suggest that we reset this case. And the court's going to reset this case for February 16th. I think that should be more than enough time to get everything taken care of.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Do y'all have any input or?
I think we'll. It's almost in the same category as the preceding case, so we'll be anticipating arrival of that sometime today, and then we might be able to save you some space on February 16th.
Great, Ms. Yoon, is that everything?
That
all right?
sounds great. I would love to have it resolved so then he doesn't have to come to court again and miss work.
Me too. Mr. Alemán, thank you for being here this morning. Basically, I've got a placekeeper setting for another court setting on February 16th, but I don't anticipate that that's going to be necessary based on the representations of your attorney and the county attorney. Your case will end up getting resolved through your work and effort today. So best of luck to you in the future. I don't anticipate I'll see you again, but thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir, and you are excused.
Thank you.
And then if we move to case number 24, Mr. Connors, this is another client of Ms. Yoon's. She represented to the court that the defendant, Mr. Vasquez Ortiz, has an appointment to obtain a license, and on successful obtainment of that replacement license, the state's going to dismiss the case, and they've asked for a reset to April 13th. Is that your understanding?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. We look forward to the gentleman getting his administrative tasks completed by that date, and it will be resolved.
It's a great deal for him. So, Mr. Vasquez Ortiz, I know you're here. You're the iPhone.
He's not muted.
He's the iPhone with a capital P.
Non-capital.
Non-capital. Oh, I'm sorry. There you are, Mr. Vasquez. I was looking on the wrong side. You don't have to unmute. It's okay. I'm just going to say that the court is going to reset your case for April 13th, but we anticipate that you're going to resolve this matter before then. So the court wishes you the best of luck. And thank you for being here this morning. Mr. Connors or Ms. Yoon, is there anything further that we need to discuss with respect to this case?
No.
No, Your Honor. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Alaman.
Okay, best of luck to you, Mr. Vasquez Ortiz. You are excused. You can go ahead and get off the call now. Have a good day. Thanks. I think those were the two, Ms. Yoon, that we had discussed.
Yes, I also discussed passing the cases for Elias Holman to announcement.
Yes, ma'am. And March 16th, 2021. When is the trial? When is our of what? March. Okay. No, that's on the 16th when these cases are come for. Are they? Where's the Elias? When these cases on the announcement date, we do have a jury trial date, but it's 10 days from that, so I don't really think that's adequate. So for purposes of scheduling, thinking about the Elias Holman cases, those would be set for trial on our second trial date of the year, which I believe is it June?
29th.
June 29th. So just pencil that in and keep that in mind. And that would go for anybody's cases that are on the announcement docket before, say, end of April.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And this is Mr. Holman. Mr. Holman, where are you?
Yes, Your Honor.
There you are. Good morning, sir. You're here on 3 cases. All 3 of those cases passed to announcement. Mr. Connors, the county attorney doesn't have any motions, do they?
We do not, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for forgetting to ask that. So there's nothing to happen that's going to occur this morning, Mr. Holman. You're going to need to come back to court on, what day did I say? On March 16th, 2021. If you have any questions in the interim, please contact your attorney directly. Thank you for being here this morning. You're excused, and I wish you the best of luck.
Understood. Thank you. Live long and prosper.
Same to you, bud. All
And
right.
just to highlight, I did file, I think, 4 request documents for that case.
Noted by our office, Your Honor.
Okay. 4 request documents.
Yeah, mostly just pre-trial documents, like a request for witness list and expert discovery.
Did you file them with my office?
I thought I did.
Do you want to, we can hear them right now. Do we have it? Thank you for bringing that up, Ms. Union. Yeah, on any pretrial motions that y'all have, even if they're standard for purposes of maintaining a complete and full file, if you want to have them or present them to the court, please do, even if I ask. Okay, so thank you for bringing that to my attention. I have no problem. Even if they're standard discovery orders, we feel more comfortable as a matter of course to get discovery orders signed, as long as the county attorney, of course, doesn't have any objection to them, which I don't think they will. I think county attorney's general response is it's an open file policy.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So just hang tight on this one real quick. Mr. Holman, hang tight for just a few more minutes. Okay, I'm going to print out some documents, review them, and we'll consider them. So it'll probably 10 minutes, no more.
Understood.
So that'll be Mr. Holman. We've resolved Mr. Bosque Ortiz this morning. Antonio Aliman, we've done working on him. Miss Garcia, she's done for the morning, right? We took care of her. Did we take care of Miss Garcia? Not yet. We haven't taken care of Miss Garcia. Sonny Flores, is there a Sonny Flores?
Yes,
sir.
iPhone So I spoke to Mr. Connors about having a potential reset or for both Mr. Sunny Flores and Theodore Hernandez, because for both of them, I would like to file some pretrial motions and yes.
So that's Sunny Flores, and who's the other? You said another one, I'm sorry.
Theodore Hernandez.
Okay. So you're requesting resets, pretrial resets on both of those cases?
Yes.
Okay.
And for Mr. Sunny Flores, I am working with our mental health specialist on it, and so it may require a little bit longer to formalize the documents I would like to file for them. So if I could get a little bit more time, that would be helpful.
How much time are you asking on each of them? How much time do you think is sufficient?
I think Theodore Hernandez, I could do whenever is the, I mean, I have a lot of cases on February 16th, but you know, whenever soon. Oh, I think I can't hear you.
Is March 16th enough time on both cases?
Yes. Yeah, that'd be plenty of time.
And is it my understanding, Your Honor, that those motions are due on that date, or they may be scheduled for hearing?
No, all those I'm resetting the pretrial date, and any pretrial motions will be considered at that time.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Court's going to reset Sunny Flores to the March 16th. Reset his pretrial hearing to March 16th, 2021. And case numbers 17 and 28 on the docket, which are each styled State versus Theodore Hernandez, are being, and both are pretrial settings. Both pretrial settings are being reset to March 16th, 2021. The court will need some confirmation that Mr. Hernandez and Mr. Flores acknowledge that those dates have been reset. However you want to do that is fine with the court. Is there anything further? State, I presume you don't have any objection to resetting these based on our previous discussion.
Judge, I missed my cue. I have no objection to those reset dates.
I think I missed giving you a cue, so not y'all, it's me. Okay, so that's Theodore Hernandez and Sunny Flores. Caleb Bozant, I had said February 16th. I'm pretty sure that's not a convenient date for both the state and defense counsel. In thinking about Zoom and a suppression motion, you know, I would like the county not to have to, and as much as I appreciate and enjoy Mr. Raven, his presence, both virtually and in person, if I can provide some separation on a motion to suppress, but still do it on the same day that we have Mr. Raven, that's beneficial, I think, to me and to y'all. So I was thinking maybe March 16th at like 10:30. I don't know how long y'all anticipate the suppression hearing will last. I don't know how many witnesses or different arguments you have. So, and I'm happy, the court's happy to work through the lunch hour. That's fine with us.
March 16th sure looks good here from our perspective, Judge. March 16th looks good.
Okay,
Yes.
why don't we do that? Why don't we just make it a special setting at 10:30 in the morning? So we'll set it separately, and but then the Zoom hearing will be the same 8:30 Zoom hearing that you sign up on. It's just your client won't need to be present. We can prevent any police officers that need to testify, keep them from having to show up at 8:30 and sit around on a computer screen for a couple hours. If anything pops in the interim, if thinking about delivery of evidence or any exhibits or anything that you want the court to consider, please let's talk about that before the hearing date, so we can get it as scripted as possible, and everybody have the right paperwork that we need so that we can proceed with minimal. I want to say cumbersome, but I don't know whatever the proper tense of that word after what I said was. I just want to make it as smooth as possible. That's what I'm trying to say. So,
Okay, Judge.
thank you all.
Comprende.
So, and so really this is going to be are there any other pretrial motions besides the motion to suppress?
No.
The state will obviously review the file, and we'll certainly get those filed as soon as possible, and hopefully not cause any disruption to that date, Your Honor. So,
great, thank you. And so what the court will do, the court will reset Mr. Bozant's pretrial hearings for March 16th, 2021 at 10:30. And if there's any other motions that need to be considered by the court, we can do it at that time. And so the hearing will be, we have an understanding, we have a suppression hearing, but there may be other motions that need to be heard, and we'll do that at that time as well. Is that okay? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Does, Judge.
Great, thank you. Mr. Bozant, do you understand everything that we've just discussed? You just nod.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, great. So you're next going to be hearing March 16th, 2021 at 10:30. And if you have any questions at all, please contact Ms. Yoon, your lawyer. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for being here this morning. You're excused, and have a great day, okay?
Thank you.
And may Sunny Flores and Theodore Hernandez be excused as well at this point?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Sorry about that, Mr. Hernandez and Mr. Flores. I have Isaiah Hinojosa. He was reset to the March 16th. He's not here anymore. So, Mr. Hernandez, Theodore?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here this morning, Mr. Hernandez. Your
But he meant to say next Monday.
Your case has been reset to March 16th. If you have any questions, please contact your attorney, Ms. Yoon, directly. Thank you for being here this morning, and please enjoy the rest of your day.
Will do. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Flores, did he go ahead and get on? No, Mr. Flores, you're here, right? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here this morning. Your case has been reset as well, March 16th, I believe.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, yes, sir, your case has been reset to March 16th, 2021, same time. If you have any questions, please contact Ms. Yoon, your lawyer. I really appreciate your presence here this morning. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you too, Your Honor. You have a great day too. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so that should only leave Mr. Holman.
And I have two actually other clients. So I know Laura Enzel Dua. I apologize for not fully explaining the situation beforehand, and I would love to know how I can do that next time so that I can learn. But she actually we had an agreement that she is
the back of my truck. There's
she personally is going to rehab, and then if she stays in the program for 6 months, that she will be the case will be dismissed, and our office is actually transporting her today to rehab, which is why she isn't here.
Okay. Mr. Connors, is that an accurate summation of this particular case?
It's exceptionally accurate, Your Honor. And for that purpose, I thought perhaps maybe a midway pretrial on this might be appropriate, just to see if we're still on track between now and the completion of our program. The courts allows.
Certainly, we could set it for April or May.
Maybe May, Your Honor. And I think that obviously we recognize that from the state's perspective that the defendant would not be present, and ideally would not be present because she was succeeding.
The court recognizes that as well. Ms. Yoon, May, what days do we have in May? May 4th? Yeah. So we'll reset. Ms. Enns will do a case number 12 on the morning docket to May 4th? Yes. To May 4th, 2021, reset the pretrial with the understanding that this is during the time that if Ms. Enzel is successful with her rehabilitation program, that she'll still be in the middle of the rehabilitation program and she won't be able to attend. And I would ask that both the state and Ms. Yoon remind the court on May 4th, 2021, when this case comes up and Ms. Enzel is not here, so we don't issue a habeas corpus warrant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
And Your Honor, my last client that's still here other than Mr. Holman is Miss Belinda Garcia, and she she made me aware she has another case pending. And so I would, if we are going to reschedule it for it to be filed, I would appreciate if there was a way that we could actually give her another court date now, with hopes that at that point the other case has been filed. And if not, us work it out either during or before, just because I think the consistency of giving her a specific court date now would be really helpful for her.
So do we know, as the other case hasn't been filed?
I'm not really sure. I think it would also be in misdemeanor court, but I haven't seen it.
And Your Honor, I think that Ms. Bonda has informed me that this office doesn't currently have another case on file yet. So perhaps I can talk with my colleague, Ms. Yoon, about that to see if there's something we should be looking for in terms of an arrest report, so that we can address that.
Okay.
Do I want to discuss it before I move forward?
So I think
I'll reset the case, but I can't. I'm going to pass it to announcement. I mean, you don't have any pretrial motions on this. This is wait. Let me make sure. Is this a status? Is this just a status?
It's a pretrial, I believe, Your Honor.
Oh, it's just, oh, okay. Yeah. So, are there any pretrial motions?
Not from the state.
No, yes. No, there isn't. I think that would be fine if we pass it to announcement.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't want you to, to say what the alleged, but a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that tell you what, we'll set Miss Garcia for April 13th, 2021. Okay. And if on April 3rd, and I'm going to reset, this is a pre-trial on April 13th, 2021. If no case is filed in this other charge, we're going to the court's going to proceed. So at that time, if you have any pretrial motions, you'll need to make them, and then we'll proceed with moving the case forward. And I don't know, maybe that other case can get worked up real quick. I just don't know. I'm happy to accommodate y'all, but it just seems like it's a open-ended thing.
Yes, I'm totally, if we can even resolve it before then, I totally will get with Neil to do that.
We'll certainly inquire, Your Honor.
Thank you all very much. So it's a reset to April 13th. You got that one? Yes, sir. Okay, that's all you had, Ms. Yoon, except for Mr. Holman.
Mhm.
Why did we put Mr. Holman back on the back burner? I forgot already.
Oh, because of this right here.
Oh, the motions for discovery. Okay. The court will call cause numbers. Unless there's an objection, I'm going to run all three of them together. The motions, there's three motions for discovery or three pretrial motions on cause numbers 26629, 26581, and 26706, State of Texas versus alias Holman. Mr. Connors, have you had an opportunity to review these motions that were filed in these three cases?
Let me see if I correctly identified them, Your Honor, and located them. I have a motion in those three cases for a list of state's witnesses prior to trial, and that's one motion, Your Honor. I have no objection to that. We will comply with that request for notification of this. And if the court would like to give us a deadline for that, I don't know that one will be necessary, but we can certainly be diligent about that.
Let's wait. Hold on real quick, Mr. Connors.
Yes, Judge.
The first motion, what's the title? What's the actual title? I've got three motions.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll just list them off in receipt of them. Motion for list of state's witnesses prior to trial.
I need that motion. There's a fourth motion. Motion for states, for a list of state's witnesses prior to trial.
Yes, Your Honor. And it
Let's move on to the next motion while the court's getting a copy.
Yes, Judge. Request for notice of intent to offer extraneous offenses under 404B and evidence of prior convictions and evidence of extraneous crimes or bad acts under Article 37.07. Well, I'll dub notice for request for notice of extraneous offenses generally, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And then finally, request for any exculpatory or mitigating evidence, whether it be Brady material or Michael Morton material. Those are the three motions that I have identified.
I have a motion, a defendant's motion requesting disclosure of expert witnesses.
And I have that too, Your Honor.
Okay, good. So I'm missing one motion. Only three were filed? Can you email?
I e-filed them and
Just email, can you email me right now?
yes. So did you say for me too?
Can you?
The motion for a list of state's witnesses prior to trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. Hold on real quick. Let me get Mr. Connor, do you have any objection to any of these motions?
No, Your Honor. I believe these are appropriate for appropriately required and succinct enough that absolutely, Your Honor. We don't object to any of these motions. I can't warrant what the contents or the response will be, but we'll also furnish a reply.
So with respect to defendant's motion requesting disclosure of expert witnesses, that relief is granted. From the bench, I don't have a proposed order. If there is a proposed order on file, we'll get it signed. Otherwise, it's Just put in the record. With respect to the motion to, or the request for exculpatory and mitigating evidence, Brady material and Morton material, court grants the request on all three cases. And with respect to the request for notice of intent to offer extraneous conduct under Rule 404B and evidence of conviction under Rule 609F and evidence of an extraneous crime or bad act under Article 37.07, the court grants that request. Mr. Connors, you had mentioned that there was potentially a time frame that the court needed to enter, but I don't see anything.
Yes, John, I was just asking whether the court would want to impose any type of deadline for response in light of any trial dates.
Why don't we do this, if I'm understanding correctly, with respect to the 3 alias Holman cases that we've passed to announcement, if there's any pretrial matters that need to come before the court, that they come before the court at that announcement date. And I'll make note of that on my docket sheet, and y'all can remind me of that. Certainly, you have adequate time if you need to file any motions or responsive pleadings. You can do so before the hearing date. Does that accommodate the concern and the issues moving forward?
Does, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, great. Do we have that? Oh wait, you sent it to me, Ms. Yoon. Hold on real quick. And with respect to the motion for list of state's witnesses prior to trial, Mr. Connors, does the state have any objection?
Does not, Your Honor.
That motion is granted as well. So with respect to all 4 motions, they're all granted or approved for causes 26629, 26581, and 26706. Is there anything further on any of those 3 matters with respect to defendant alias Holman that needs to come before the court at this time?
No, Judge.
Great. All right. Well then, that would resolve those 4 cases. And Mr. Holman, if you have any questions about everything that just happened, please contact me directly. Otherwise, you're excused. We'll see you back here on March 16th.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here this morning.
No problem.
Do we have any other cases that have not been resolved? Anything else that we need to discuss?
Your Honor, if Jeremy and I can just speak to you about procedure for notifying our clients about reset dates. We've talked to Mr. Loya a little bit about it, but we just want to make sure we're all on the same page, because I think we all have the same objective of wanting to make sure that our clients are notified properly, and we just want to make sure that it's possible for us.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Everybody else is excused. We'll just stay on the line. Thank you, guys. We'll see you at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Raven, you can log out too, sir. We'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mike, can you go let Belinda go, and then just end the call on yours? Then there's something in there.
This guy showed up, he had a citation judge pending him today. He is not on the docket because of the citation, but he does have a case number now, and he's in the small court.
Hey, so just real briefly, Jeremy and Ariel, it's a guy that showed up on the arraignment docket, but there's already a case on him. Hey, Mike. Just gonna have Mike tell him to call Mike Diaz to get an affidavit if he's interested in doing that, just to get him on the. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Hey, Mike. Mike, have you let Mr. Goebel go?
No, he's right here.
Ask him to contact Mike Diaz if he's going to be looking for court-appointed counsel. He
Okay.
can go ahead and get started on that today since there's a case and he showed up. Otherwise, we'll get him on the docket at some point in time in the future. But if he goes ahead and reaches out to Trala, we can maybe get his case moving forward a little bit faster.
Yes, sir, will do.
Thank you, Mr. Loya. Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm responding exactly to what you mentioned today with this, but I've been thinking about it a lot with Mr. Loya because I think probably Jeremy feels the same. I definitely make a big effort to make sure I'm letting my clients know when the next court date is. And I do think, the nature of where our clients are, just both with their income level. And then on top of it, there is, more unemployment with coronavirus and all of those things. I do find sometimes my clients get their phones disconnected. And so it does concern me of me being completely both responsible as the only point of contact for making sure they know their next court date. Because often I'll try other things like emailing them and so on. And then once they get it, they often respond to me. But I would feel, I was talking to Mr. Loya about this, but I would feel more comfortable if there was a way that maybe we can mail them their reset notices, because then I would at least feel that they're both getting it by mail and I'm trying them by phone or whatever contact information I have. And then Mr. Loya did bring up that there's maybe 15% that will get sent back to him. But at that point, I'm comfortable with either working together to make sure everyone, if I've let them know, then we can have proper notice that has happened between us two. But I guess I'm just trying to think of creatively ways that we can make sure we're getting notice. And because of our clients' access to technology and things like that, it is pretty hard for us to get signatures at this time as well. And so to me, that kind of felt like it was both fulfilling our objective of making sure our clients are notified and not necessarily putting a huge extra burden on Jeremy and I, who I think both of us can say we definitely feel pretty busy with our caseload of just being proper attorneys beyond administrative tasks. So I just wanted to have this conversation with you so that we could hopefully fulfill these requirements that I know are important to you as well as us, because I really don't, I try to do everything in my power to make sure my clients are there. And I even have talked to my office manager about potentially sending letters ourselves to them. And so that's why I thought if you guys were mailing it, then I don't have to worry about me also doing that. And I know that I've had clients who call the county court and then Mike gives them my number, and that makes me feel at ease that they're not missing court dates and having warrants out for them, and that make life more complicated for them.
I appreciate your comments, Ms. Yoon. Our goals are the same. I don't have a problem with Mike, and we send out hearing notices all the time. With respect to resets, and when we have a defendant that's actually physically present on Zoom, it would be nice. It would be good, since we have them, we know they have access to technology, to get to hew as closely as we can to how things operate outside of COVID, within COVID. I do have a concern because I have a county attorney who is going to be continuing to request alias capias warrants to be issued for people who don't show up for court, and I'm going to grant them absent some compelling argument otherwise. But one of my obligations, I believe, with respect to that, is I want to make sure that the court and the county is doing everything within its reasonable power to make sure that defendants are aware of their obligations. And I'm not accepting that we have some overreaching obligation to go find defendants who choose to ignore, who choose not to reach out to the county to let us know where they've moved, when their telephone number is disconnected. All of the excuses for why they don't reach out, they're all the same, right? You can fit them into maybe 3 or 4 different buckets, and it doesn't really matter. They might as well just say, well, the dog ate it, my mail, and so I never got it. And so from y'all's perspective, believe me, and I mean this sincerely, I know how hard you guys are working, and the court really, really appreciates it. I do. I know that under COVID, it's just made your job all that more cumbersome. In fact, I was mentioning and talking with Mike about it yesterday. It is, what's the nicest way for me to say this? I find it very hard to believe that you can run a virtual office running a large number of cases like TRLA does in B County, Live Oak, McMullen County, and the other counties that it services fully remotely, because a lawyer is not a one-man show. A lawyer requires support staff, and that support staff has to, there's a fundamental quality to a brick and mortar shop that is a necessary component of the practice of law, especially when you're running a large volume docket, which is what you guys are doing. TRLA has taken the position, and y'all took it this summer, not you guys, but TRLA officially took the position this summer. We cannot go back. We're not doing in-person court. Y'all continue to do that, and I really appreciate it because I think it works better. But he said, we're shutting down the office. We're not doing this. We can't. And my concern is that TRLA is incapable or not incapable. TRLA is risking not being able to provide the same level of services that they agreed to provide on behalf of their contractual relationship with this county and the other counties with respect to our indigent defense. And so the onus is not and should not be on y'all's shoulders alone. I feel that with respect to county court, TRLA has worked really well with me, and I really appreciate it. But making sure defendants know, especially when they're on the Zoom calls, that they know and acknowledge that they've been reset on their own request or the request of their attorney in writing is, that really shrinks what I'm asking you to do from, you've run in 100 cases to you've got 15 resets today. I know you have Mike Diaz. I don't know what other staff you have, and I'm not trying to run your office for you. But it is important for me to make sure that you, Ariel, and you, Jeremy, know that the court recognizes and acknowledges that there's a lot more work that has to be done by TRLA as an organization in order for you guys to effectively do your job as lawyers working for TRLA. And I don't know if I can put that into better, more sophisticated language or not, but that's how I see things. So I do not think it is unreasonable for the court to request in COVID times written confirmation that somebody that we've granted a request to in open court acknowledges that they'll be showing up the next time or be showing up at that next hearing that they received that concession for. And whether it's more loosey-goosey, like Mr. Littlefield, I didn't want to ask for that because I would be very concerned about waiving attorney-client privilege of some kind if you just forward any direct communications between you and your client. There's no real conditional waiver, right? So I would be a little reticent to make that a policy, but I'm happy to consider whatever you guys. I'm happy to work with you guys as best as I can. I don't want to create busy work for you. I really don't. I know some of what I do is maybe a little bit more busy work than what you would like. It's a little less pragmatic. But there's a whole lot of cases that we're managing, and we're doing really good. And a lot of that has to do with the strong effort of you two, of Claire, of Emily, of all those that have gone before you. So I'm happy to entertain any solutions you guys have, and we don't have a problem with Mike sending out the notices. you're shifting cost, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you're shifting cost back to the county, right? So TRLA is paid over $1 million a year by B County and others to perform indigent services, and there's a component, and to me, in my mind, there's a component of that is separate and apart from just legal representation, right? Because TRLA is here because it makes sense for us to have this structure because it's more efficient. When it ceases to be more efficient, what am I paying for? You guys are great lawyers, and you got great futures ahead of you, but there's lots of lawyers that are good too. And so that's just, maybe it's not going to be an issue. Maybe we get to go back to in-person in March. I have no idea. Probably not. We're probably never going back to in-person. This is it. But happy to consider whatever you want. Because going forward, especially if Mr. Knight is present, those alias capias requests are going to be coming. And the first time that TRLA makes an argument, which you should if you have a legal argument to make, on the inapplicability of alias capias warrants on a Zoom hearing where there's no written statement by the defendant that he acknowledged that he had a future hearing date. The first time you guys bring an objection like that to me, it's definitely going to change my tone, because then we're mixing up the role between TRLA and B County and the role between prosecutor and defense attorneys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal. Like I can't, I'm not trying to ask you guys to do things that you wouldn't otherwise.
I just want to confirm, Judge, you said, I believe earlier, that you would accept two different kind of confirmations that our clients had noticed. One of them was actually them signing the notice themselves, but you also said that we could probably prepare a general form that the attorney, us, acknowledges that we told them, and that would be sufficient as well.
Yes.
I think that would be maybe more efficient than us, kind of using DocuSign every time to, upload, send it a couple different ways, to just have a pre-made form that if we do establish contact with our client, that we have told them the date. Is that sufficient for you, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I think that me and Ariel will probably have to talk to Joe a little bit more, but I don't mind preparing that form if I establish contact with my clients and tell them their notice setting. I'll just have to confirm with Joe that he wants me to do that, and I'll be fine doing that.
And that's fine. I appreciate that, Mr. Habash. And we do have we're going to have a oversight committee meeting this Friday. And I think it's Friday, and hopefully Joe will be available, so we can touch base then, or if he wants to call me beforehand, I'm happy to.
Sure.
And what I'd love to know is if there's some red flag, if there's some issue, and y'all are very polite, and I appreciate that. You're very nice. But if there's some issue and I'm overstepping my bounds in some way, I really hope that you guys tell me earlier rather than later. So
I think the only concern that Michelle and Joe had was a conflict of, if we provide information to the court that would be used against our clients to get the capias or warrant set out, if we were, kind of betraying our sole obligation to our client to protect them. I think that's the only ethical issue that we're facing here.
Okay.
And just the time, like I have a felony docket. I know Ariel is doing some work too, but I think I can prepare that form. That would be easy for me to do instead of the reset notices. I think I can handle that it wouldn't occupy too much of my time. I would be more than happy to do that for the court. But that conflict issue is what I'm concerned about.
I think that's a fair concern. And if that's an issue that we really need to take a pause on this alternative concept, that's fine too. And just so you know, going forward, resets will be granted only upon your clients coming to the courthouse and signing a reset notice.
Yes, I believe I had one, Brandon Vieu. I instructed him to go to the courthouse, and the locals, I don't think mind going in and signing that. But some of our clients don't live in town, so yeah.
Not going to be the court's problem, right?
Right.
So I don't want to. It's easy. And maybe that's how we ought to do it. Maybe we ought to just say, look, sorry, one way or the other. And then if you guys need to make some special accommodation for 1 or 2 clients a month, as opposed to 10 to 15 clients a month, then you make your own choice to do that if you want to do it. I can push it back that way. That's easier for me if it works for y'all. Miss Yoon, what you got?
It's just really, to me, because the county attorney's office, sometimes I get offers very late. And then there's also cases filed that don't have a lot of evidence on it. So if you think of the volume of cases I'm getting versus the ones that are substantive, and have issues, it's hard to go through them all, right? And to me, to put that responsibility onto the client and not allow a reset when clients have their whole lives. And I understand that, we're here to give them good representation, and we know where our time has to go to make sure we're at least being competent attorneys, and with the volume of cases we have. And so to me, putting that responsibility onto the client when we are getting things last minute is worrisome to me, of being able to make sure that I'm giving my clients adequate representation. And it makes me just wonder. I understand your concerns, and I think they're very important, and it's all about balancing concerns. And in my perspective, the court is also bringing these people here. So there is some responsibility, I think, for all of us to make sure they're getting adequate representation and a fair hearing and all of those things, that it is a cost of us bringing them through the system. And so it just worries me if we get too caught up in the administrative, and that's why we're having this conversation, because I want to make sure we can come to solutions so it's not too burdensome for any of us, right? And if there is something that's really easy or so on, but it does worry me of changing it so that because we know that, like, even just to get my clients on the Zoom calls, I have testers. Last night I had a tester Zoom call at 7 p.m. after my client got out of work to make sure he could get on. And so I know that for me to have them sign it, it would be just that. It'd be like having them come to the court. They're going to call me. Oh, I'm downstairs. Where do I go? Oh, up the stairs. And so I just want to make sure you guys are paying us money. I want to make sure I'm giving them adequate representation. That's my job. And so things that feel like they're just, so that's why if there's ways that we can work on things, that's really important to me, so that I can make sure I'm giving my clients adequate / good representation. And so that's what kind of worries me about potentially not allowing resets unless they can come in, and having that kind of as a blanket rule. And I know that there's considerations, but I think it's I really want to be able to work together so that we can have solutions that are both taking into consideration that some of the hardship that some of our clients really face, and the court's responsibilities and making sure we're giving them adequate notice and so on.
I appreciate your comments, Ms. Yoon, and I would only respond because I think you're absolutely correct. I think you hit the nail on the head. But if we remove the COVID issue, then we're not doing Zoom hearings. We're in person. And if your client can't show up, you're going to have to address that on the front end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you show up for court and your client just doesn't show up because they couldn't get off work or their truck broke down, I mean, we accommodate them, I think, to the extent that we can, oftentimes, and reset them. But as a matter of course, it's been the general policy of this court that resets, defendants are excused from court upon signing the reset notice. So it's not a new rule. we'd just be falling back to the traditional, to the rule, to the way this court operates. Zoom has been imposed by the Office of Court Administration solely because of the issue of COVID-19. So that doesn't mean that nobody has to be inconvenienced with addressing, and I know you didn't mean it this way, but nobody has to be inconvenienced with addressing their crime or alleged crime. I don't know how to address the other comments that you made. I know there's a certain component to that probably in every county, as far as, volume of cases and, really reviewing a case before filing it. But that's, as you guys know, within the exclusive purview of the county attorney. But yeah, I'm not trying to make a new rule. I can use the old rule, and I'm not. Yeah, the burden is no greater than it was before COVID. It's just a loss of the convenience that COVID presents by allowing your clients who may have a difficult time getting to the courthouse or getting into town to go to court. They lose that convenience because there's no other solution that we can come to. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm like I said, I want to work with you guys, and I'm telling you that, I know that alias capias warrants are going to be coming down, and I have a feeling that may be an issue that you guys want to address on the front end. I really don't know, and I would love somebody to bring that issue to bear. The last thing I want to do is issue orders from the bench, even one order that is ill-advised or for whatever reason doesn't meet minimum notice requirements, if there are minimum notice requirements that are necessary, right? It's not a new cause of action, right? It's not a failure to appear, but at the same time, it has dramatic recourse to your clients, to all clients and or all defendants that come before this court. I really, really, really don't want to end up down a rabbit trail that we shouldn't be down. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me about this, and please let me know, and Ms. Yoon, your concerns are the court acknowledges them. I recognize everything that you're saying. I really not trying to paint you two in a corner or TRLA into a corner or be punitive. I'm just concerned about making sure, because I know what's going to happen going forward. Want to make sure that we do everything that's reasonable within all of our abilities to make sure that all defendants get notice of court dates well in advance before they're supposed to show up. So
yeah, I think also a lot of the concerns came from the court date that was like canceled. So then I knew that my clients didn't even have the court date. And so then it really made me stressed, because then I'm like, should I be sending them mail? All of the things.
Sorry about that.
In my mind, I was like, oh, if the court's also sending them something, I can at least be pretty sure that unless they just moved and changed their identity, that they'll get some notification. But I understand it when they're in court. If there maybe is a way that we can just, and Jeremy will check in, but maybe the solution will be saying, oh, is there a time this week where you guys can come and reset? And then Mike Loya can let us know who hasn't, and then we can follow up or something like that.
Anything we can do. I really do. I'm really afraid that because of the convenience of Zoom, that we're going to lose some of the formalities. We're going to end up making mistakes, creating error. That then y'all would be duty bound to exploit and take advantage of, and you should. Court's not going to do. I'm not trying to discourage y'all. I just want to make sure I'm doing everything as best I can. So worst case scenario, if there's a mandamus someday, I can say, well, we tried. Not I didn't care about it and I didn't look at it and we didn't address it. So yeah, thanks so much. And yes, sir, Mike.
You may have talked about it already. But how are y'all handling resets in the other counties?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know in Live Oak County, where I used to work, they purely go by the mail out rule. As long as I don't know who specifically sends them out, that somebody at the clerk's office sends our clients the notices. If it's not sent back, then that's sufficient for them in that court to issue a capias. If it's sent back, then I don't know. I don't remember what they actually do. I think they try to verify new address or contact information, and they'll give a pass on the first time on that, I believe.
Okay, that was in Goliad.
That's in Live Oak County.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious how y'all were handling that in the other county. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, guys. Is there anything else?
No, that's it, Judge. I appreciate it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll see y'all at 1:30. Thank y'all both.
Bye.